What is going on, guys? It is Daniel Wright, as well as my guest here, Nick Wright, coming to you for another episode of Paving the Way. Guys, happy Saturday morning to you. As you can probably tell, I'm not filming this on Saturday morning. This is actually Thursday afternoon down here in Clearwater. We're still down at the Ignite Construction Summit. We had a full day of conference and panels and speakers today. That really just provided a lot of value for us. We were able to take in a lot of information regarding company culture, future trends of the paving industry, and leadership, really defining purpose and growth and things like that. So it was extremely impactful. We got a couple hours here this afternoon to just kind of do some networking and just expanding on what we were able to learn today. But fortunately for all of us and all of you guys who are listening, being down here in Clearwater got me close to Nick, who's my younger brother, youngest brother actually, and he lives over in the Tampa area. He, I'll let him get into kind of what he does down here, but he doesn't live far from here, so he was able to come over for a little bit, and he has actually asked me a couple of times to say, hey, if you want me on your podcast, let me know. So with the fact that I live in Charlotte and he lives in Florida, getting to do this in person is kind of one of those things that's probably not going to happen super often. So we're making the most out of it. As you can see behind us, if you're watching it, it is an absolutely beautiful day here in Clearwater, about 70 degrees, little wispy clouds in the sky, and nothing but good times. So Nick, I appreciate you coming over, buddy. I guess for the people who don't know you and don't know what you do, tell them a little about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This is kind of a last minute thing, but it's I'm glad I was able to work out. So, but as Daniel said, my name is Nick Wright. I am his younger brother, but I've been living in Tampa alone for going on about 3 years now. But what I currently do right now is I am an account manager for a landscape company here in Tampa. You can probably see it on my shirt. It is West Coast, But anyways, I'm an account manager. I've been with them specifically for a little over a year now. But my background that I come from, out of college per se, is I came from a sports management degree, but I transitioned into doing landscape, actually doing sales, and I've kind of been going down that road, and it's been good. And started with a national vendor, worked with them, worked my way up to senior national account manager, and took a step to kind of be more local and work for a more local company who's growing and scaling and trying to get to that level as well. So I've been able to kind of help them and even help their account managers who even have a lot of experience too, as far as, locally and different things, just kind of broaden the ideas as far as how you can continue to grow a business. Even though I might be young, there's a lot that I still need to learn, and I will continue to learn, but it kind of helps with new ideas as far as how it continues to evolve and grow. So it's just fun to kind of see. I call it's the blue and white collar industry, so it's a mixture. So it's fun to see that continue to grow and evolve, even where you guys are and in the paving industry and us in the landscape industry. It's needed, but people don't think about.
So. Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's just also too, so everybody knows, the reason we got 26 years of wisdom with Nick is because today, when we're recording this on December 7th, is actually his 26th birthday. So it even worked out even better. We gave him a birthday present of getting to share his story with you guys. And I'm
now officially on my own insurance. So
yeah, officially on your own insurance.
I'm
welcome to being an adult.
So sorry, Mom. But well, now you get to save money. That's great. So.
Yeah. So, well, cool. Well, so I guess, obviously I know a lot about you being your brother. We talk a couple times a week, shoot the shit or whatever when we're driving into work, driving to and from meetings, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I guess I'd be kind of curious to know, we're people who follow this know that I'm originally from Indiana. You're from Indiana, so you guys moved down. When I say you guys, you and Mom and our sister Gabriella and Michael, you guys all moved down to Florida right after you graduated high school, right? So 26 years old. So you've been down here for about 8 years, if my math is right. So what has it been like, because you went to college down here, You went to school, got your degree, graduated, everything like that. What's it been like really just building your adult life in a completely new area, like a completely new state with completely new people and everything like that? Like, how has that gone for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been very eye-opening. Um, you know, kind of through college, I was able to, after freshman year, I was then able to kind of get on my own and like live in an apartment with some guys and different stuff. And during that time, I met my now fiance. We just got engaged 2 months ago, Ansley, that you guys know. And you know, having her family and also mom while she was at teaching at Southeastern just kind of opened my eyes, kind of transitioned into living on my own and taking care of myself. You know, when I graduated, I moved to Orlando, and that was really my first official time being on my own. And during that time, it was also during the pandemic too. So during COVID, not only, you know, did I graduate during the middle of a pandemic we never had before experience, but you know, costs were going up, different things were going. I mean, it was nothing you could predict, right? Not even our parents have probably even lived, you know, mom or dad, none of them have lived through something like that maybe. So it really demanded you to kind of just grow up fast, if that makes sense. And when it came to affording bills, and you know, when you're broke and you can't afford a McDouble, right, and have to pay rent and have to pay the bills. So having just the capability of having family down here, having friends, growing that network, growing that community to support was huge. And just over time, I transitioned to come over to Tampa just to kind of be closer with her family, since you know mom moved up to Indiana, right? So it opened more opportunities for me to come here to Tampa, and just during that time, it's allowed me to continue to grow as a person individually. And you know, I'm getting ready to start a huge new chapter in my life, get married soon. So one door opens after another, I guess that's the way I put it. So
yeah, it's you've been on a wild ride, and although I will always give you crap for being the little brother and tell you you're always going to need to grow up,
yeah,
I will agree that there has been things in your life that you have had to really just figure out, you know, and step up. Because a lot of folks, you know, obviously, I mean, we come from a family where we're all spread out. You know, Kelsey is all spread out from her family. We're spread out from our family. So it's kind of become normal to all of us to be spread out.
Yeah.
But a lot of families, they have that dynamic where they're all close to each other. You know, they're within maybe 45 minutes to an hour of their siblings or their parents or whatever it may be. And when you don't have that type of just support, you kind of don't have a choice except to figure it out.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And obviously there's some support that people can give from afar, or you know, emotional support, or you know, just advice or things like that. But like you do have to kind of just get thrown into it.
Yeah.
And so,
and it really just allows you to also like it makes it much more valuable time with family, right? When you're not with them, right? Because it's you know, we go up to Indiana for Christmas as an example. You enjoy that time much more as you get older, right? But two, you know, being afar from them, you truly do enjoy that time. And obviously all of us wish we could see our families more often, but schedule, work, different things get in the way. But it really makes it valuable. That's one big thing I've learned, just when you are with the family, it's nice to just tone out everything else going on in life, block it out, and to really enjoy that time with them has been huge too.
So. Yeah, no, I'm a huge advocate of that. It's something, I mean, Kelsey and I travel a lot for different work-related things, you know, conferences or expos, industry type things like that. So we're traveling a lot, and it's one of those things that when we get time to actually go travel and see family and spend time with them, we want to make sure that time is intentional.
Absolutely.
You know, that's why, like today, that's why we're doing what we're doing, because you know, you asked me a couple weeks ago, so you want to get together today? I'm like, look, I'm coming down for work, but if you want to come over, you can come over. Well, you decided to take time out of your day to come over and spend some time over here. You know, I know you want to see your favorite sibling, but you know, you decided to come over here and hang out for a little bit. But we're being intentional about that, because yes, we're here for a conference. We're here for, you know, to meet with other people in our industry. But the fact that we're brothers and we don't get to see each other that often, I want to make sure that the time that you're taking out of your day is worthwhile, and I'm reinvesting that time into you. So I think we've all as a family just kind of really learned how to do that better. We all lead very, very busy lives, in literally all different parts of the country, from Michigan to Indiana to North Carolina to Florida. And it's wild. So But to get into more of the business side of it, I know you and I talk a lot about sales, client relations, project management, different things like that you've been involved with for the last, gosh, probably 4 or 5 years. Like you said, like right, with your other companies in the national landscape space and then now local landscape. So you had mentioned a couple weeks ago that you had some in-house training at your work.
Mhm.
And tell me a little bit more about what you learned on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically, really instructing us on two things, right? As an account manager, which is what we do, it was focused on account management training. So what are the two things that account managers do? We build relationships and we manage our crews. Me specifically, our company, our division, our branch, we don't manage our crews per se, but we have that where everybody's like family, right? We have our division managers who they manage the crews, and we're just kind of the filter, right? So anything that comes from the client, if it needs to be related to the crew, we inform our division managers, and they get that information. But going back to what we learned is how to build the relationships, how to manage your crews. So the biggest thing is the building relationship side, because without our clients, we obviously don't have a business, right? Without your clients, you don't have a business. Really just kind of educating them was the biggest thing that we learned takeaway wise. Because a lot of clients, one of the biggest things I took away, you go to a client and you say, okay, what's your budget? And they say, well, I don't know. That's an opportunity right there for you to educate them, because 9 times out of 10, in your guys' case, if you go to a client, you say, hey, what's your guys' budget for your parking lot? And they say, well, we don't know.
Yep. Happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
I say, we don't know what it's going to cost, because that's why we're calling you.
Exactly. And then reversing that into educating them why it is important to pave your parking lot. In my case, why it is important to invest money into fertilization instead of irrigation, right? Why is it important to invest this money here, explaining the reasons and the risks that go into it of, when it comes to fertilization, what type of sod, what type of irrigation, what type of pump are you on? I'm not going to hijack the podcast with that, but basically coming down to educating them on what you provide, and then that establishes their budget, right? Yeah. Because once they can buy in and say, oh, well, I didn't realize that, or oh, he just taught me something that I didn't even think about, and then you show them the sales side, which is educating, that's what gets you the sale. Yep. And if you can take that time into educating, and you can read the books, and I'm huge on also, trying to, do classes or seminars of stuff related in our industry. Yeah. But at the same time, it's hands-on too, right? Yep. You learn it over, in my case, 4 or 5 years. You just learn the hands-on of it. It's pretty repetition. I don't mean to say that every client's the same, but it's repetition as far as you have the same conversation. You know it too. Like,
so with that being said, that's it's a button that I love to press, which is like processes and systems. Mm-hmm. So would you say that in essence, that to a degree, there is a system to sales? Like there's a process that you can follow. Like you said, not every person's the same. They don't have the same problems to solve, mm-hmm. but there's a system to how you approach figuring out what those problems are.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, it's just like it's honestly like being an account manager in our instance, or really just any salesperson, whether it's business development, account management, whatever it is. You're like a quarterback, right? Yep. You have to know the playbook. Yep. So when you're the quarterback, you have your different playbook. Your playbook is what your team is, what you guys specialize in. Your case, parking lot maintenance. My case, landscape. You're going to come across different scenarios and be able to put those types of plays. Whether you're going to do a play action, whether you're going to do a Hail Mary, whether you're going to do different things, you're going to be able to kind of overall say, okay, this client needs this. Let's educate them on this. This client needs this. Let's educate them on this. Yep. And so really just trying to, over time, as you continue to learn, especially for the new salespeople who come into your company or in our company, we just tell them, hey, like just shadow, just learn, just be a sponge and absorb what you see, because it really does become repetition. It's just a case-by-case scenario with each client. But when you look at it, I don't know the exact number, but there's a few certain things you start to see. Yep. As far as, hey, I've seen this before. This is what they need.
Yep.
So,
what would you say when it comes to the sales process? What would you say is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned in your time doing sales and client relations and things like that?
Be quick to listen and slow to speak.
I'm glad you've learned that, because
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell you that
You
for
have.
years.
I knew you would like that
if
too.
you would just shut your mouth and listen, you can gain a whole lot more.
Ask the, let the client elaborate on. You're always going to have the answer. Like that's our job, right? Our job is to have the answer for what they need.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain. They reached out to you to get an answer. You're
Yep.
going to get that answer, but listen to what they need. Listen to what their concerns are and say, okay, what are your concerns, right? In our case, we have a HOA who might be, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but they have a virus that's affecting a ton of their community. And they're needing education on what fertilization programs.
Well, you're talking about a virus for their plants?
Yes. Let's make that clear.
Not a health
virus
problem.
for the plants. We'll make that clear.
You mentioned COVID earlier, so I didn't know if something was coming back we didn't know about here in Florida.
No, we're not going to go down that road again. But they have a plant virus.
Okay.
That they're needing education on, and they say, we went up to them. We said, hey, you have this plant virus. We're getting it tested. We're doing the precautionary measures. They're going to say, oh, well, this is affecting this tree. It's affecting these plants. It's affecting this grass and everything. It's like, okay, well, what other concerns do you have with it? Letting them elaborate on it and say, okay, our job is to provide you the resolutions. Yep. So I've heard your concerns. I know what your concerns are. I know what we have to do for plan of action. There's always going to be trial and error too, especially in our industry. It's major trial and error.
Yep.
But really just letting them just vocalize what their concerns are. And again, don't take it personal too, right? You can have a client you've had for 5-10 years and you're still having issues, right? Or you guys, if you've had a client and something happens that, I don't know what exactly would happen, but for you guys, you could probably attest to it. But allowing them to just vocalize a concern, you come up with the solution, and that builds the relationship too. That's the biggest thing, right? Yeah. Because then you're building the trust, then you're building, having that trust in your provider, where we like to say in our office, it's an open check. It's an open checkbook.
Yeah. Once you have the trust, though.
Once you have that trust built, which some people it takes longer to build, some people it doesn't take too long. So
and something like on that point, today at the conference, which you didn't attend the conference, but so this isn't anything you've heard already, but one of the things that got talked about on the marketing panel this morning, talking about marketing in your business and how it's important and things like that. One of the things that was said by Miranda, who ironically enough, Miranda works with our company too, as kind of like a consultant type basis and helps us really, push our marketing strategies. Mm-hmm. Also works full-time for the Paving Group, which is one of our clients and also friends that we work with in the industry. She made a comment that I've heard time and time again because I have the pleasure of working with her. But she said, people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Right.
So when you go out and you go meet these clients for the first time, they have to get to know you. And then once they get to know you, they better like you. Mm-hmm. And then once they trust you, that's where the opportunities are endless. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things that we have to make sure that we keep in mind, that we have to focus on serving the client and making sure that they trust us because we're being trustworthy, right? We're leading them down the right direction. Because like you said, the HOA with a plant virus, whatever it may be, they're going to count on you. They're trusting you to help solve this problem.
Right.
And as long as you can solve that problem and do it in an honest, moral, and ethical way, they're going to trust you. And now you've just created lifetime value with that customer. Mm-hmm. It's also another point that was talked about today was what's your client lifetime value? Mm-hmm. Your LTV is what a lot of people call it. And some people think that, I just messed up a job. It was only $5,000. I just messed it up. Well, what was that client going to bring you for the lifetime of them? Mm-hmm. Were they going to bring you 10 $5,000 jobs for the next 10 years?
Right.
Because now you're looking at, a $500,000 loss, not just a $5,000 project.
Right.
So knowing that you have to focus on building the trust with them and educating them and things like that, I think is super important.
Yeah. And one thing we learned too, going back to what our training was, our VP, when he was helping with some of the training, he was basically elaborating, saying the best way to go about approaching a client, when you know that you've won with your client, it's not that price is an issue, or I'm sorry, it's not that price is the issue, price is an issue. Meaning when you get to a point with your client to where the first thing, if the first thing your client's bringing up is price, that's an issue, right? Because they're worried about what they're spending. Going back to what we were saying a second ago, educating them, learning, listening to what they have, what their issues are, that's the issue. Price isn't the issue at that point.
Yeah.
If they're that gung-ho and that committed to getting that resolved, price won't be an issue.
Yep.
So that's why he's saying price should never be the issue. Price should just be an issue.
Yes.
And going back to it, most of the time, you might get a little bit of, negotiating. That's just part of the sales tactic too. There's negotiating on price. But when you really established with that client, going back to the open checkbook, back to that, they're never going to argue with it. Yep. Because price isn't the issue at that point. That you're resolving the issue. Price is just a factor with it, which they're going to pay because they trust in you.
Yep.
So.
Yep. No, I think that's a lot of good points. And, I think I told you when you told me about this training that you had a couple weeks back, I was like, man, I'm proud of you. You actually learned something.
Yeah, for once I did.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a good older brother if I didn't give him a little crap every now and then. So it's, but on that note, Nick, I like I said earlier, I appreciate you coming over today. You took time out of your day to come by here, and I think you're checking in on some of the properties that you manage around here. So you kind of killed two birds with one stone. So I appreciate you coming over. Yeah. Means a lot that you took the time out of your day. So before we take off, though, because I know you're getting tight on time here, 26 years on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
What is the single most important piece of advice you've learned in 26 years? And not just sales, just in life.
Just in life?
Yeah.
Single most important thing. Man, that's a good question. I got to ponder it for a second because there's a lot of stuff I've learned.
It's the first
and really, honestly, it's not a lot. It's pretty much stuff that you've been hounding in my ear in 26 years that you've been like saying, hey, you need to be doing this. And I would probably have to say, it's gonna sound tacky. It really is, but appreciate the little things. Honestly, this the little things in life.
Yeah.
And little things can vary between every person, but for me, my little things in life is just appreciating, the time that you have with family or friends, or just any time that you can spend. Just appreciate those little things because they add up. And I've just noticed over time that I focus a lot on the big things. So if I can just say, you know what, I'm gonna appreciate the little things as much as I appreciate the big things in life. Yep. I usually tend to find more joy, and that's what I want to continue to kind of strive on. So
I'll take that piece of advice because I know I need to work on that too.
Yeah.
So, and then one more thing that I'll let you have for your birthday, since I didn't get you anything.
Oh,
you have to keep it clean and appropriate.
Okay.
What is one thing that you can inform our audience of about me that they may not know as my brother?
Oh man. That they may not know about you.
Like I said, it's fair game. You just have to keep it clean and appropriate. So,
man, I gotta think on that one a little bit.
Well, you better hurry up.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I could say, and you said keep it clean, so I gotta keep it clean. Well, that they may not know about you, I would say probably goes back to, I'll give you actually a compliment.
Oh boy.
I'm going to give you a compliment. And this is good. You're never going to guess this one. He is actually a very, very good golfer. He's a very underrated good golfer. He just took a personal loan out for some new clubs because he thinks that's going to be the answer to getting on my level. So, but actually, Daniel actually has a very good swing. So he's called me and told me, hey, I'm working on this and this. And so he is a good golfer. He's going to continue to get to it. He's honest. Everybody knows Daniel's honest, but I would say that Daniel's a really good golfer. He's kind of underrated.
I didn't ask you to lie to everybody. I just told you to tell them something they don't know. But But no, if you can't tell by the laughing, the golfing is definitely in progress. And there was no personal loan taken out for a set of clubs. They were on sale.
Oh, they were on sale? Is that what it was? Black Friday?
No, they're just on sale.
Okay.
So,
I
but
got you.
cool, buddy. Well, I appreciate having you on.
Yeah.
I hope
Thanks
all
for
of you
having me.
guys appreciated it. I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday, a great rest of your weekend. I know we are starting to get that time of year where if you celebrate Christmas and the holidays and things like that, that you are getting busy with that stuff. So I know we've got our annual Christmas party at our house this week. We got our company one next week, things like that. So it's just getting to be a busy time of year. So I hope you're enjoying it with those that mean the most to you, whether that's a lot or a little people in your life. Just make sure they mean something to you. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday.